Hello everyone, welcome to the session today. I want to begin with the assessment report for 4 days from 23rd onwards. How many assessments have you taken and what is the count? So the 4-day count, the total number of assessments that were taken is 269. Let me expand this a little bit. Out of which only 189 is valid. Some people are still attempting Capgemini assessment. I have no idea why is it so. Out of 269, just a moment, 80 assessments were submitted without following the right procedure. The answers were not saved, the assessment was not saved, the sufficient time was not spent. So people are just logging in and logging off. So obviously that doesn't get recorded. So there are 80 invalid assessment that has been recorded. 189 are valid, out of which majority of it is aptitude 115 and verbal is 73 assessments out of 189. So if I have to take you through the students who have taken the maximum number of assessments, Navyashri has taken Supriya has taken 18 assessments, the highest, followed by Navyashri 16, then Sunanda 13, Sujata 13, remaining are single digit. I have excluded those students who have taken less than 4 assessment. So if it's 4, at least you have taken 1 assessment a day. But if I look at these averages, I'm basically looking at close to 3 or 4 assessments per day, which is a very good sign. All right. Now the number of students that we have registered is close to 8,000, but out of which only these many students are taking more assessments. Pretty surprising, and this number is only 17. If I have to look at the college participation, again, Pragati Degree College, I'm not too surprised. 64 assessments have been taken from this particular college. SPY Reddy Degree College followed by 36, National Degree College 25, Sun Degree 21, SPY Reddy for women which is 10, remaining are single digit. So total number of colleges that is active, that has been active in these last 4 days is 16, and total number of students also is pretty less, it's close to 17. So if we look at the overall number of people who are making use of this tool is quite less, and that has to significantly improve. All right. In case if you do not understand how to use this tool and how to answer these questions, when I open up the line for interactive session, you can call and ask. But if you do not face any difficulty in terms of understanding, I am really very curious to know why you are not attempting any kind of practice assessment. All right. So moving on, here I created some questions on sentence improvement since somebody asked for it. Before I go forward, I want to quickly take you through the assessment link once again. I am doing this on daily basis so that you understand and you don't face difficulty while submitting the mock assessments. All right, just a moment. Let me have this. Okay. For some reason, it's not opening. I'm not too sure what could be the reason. Just give me a moment. I'll quickly check. So if we look at the total number of students who are actively participating has been rapidly falling. I don't know if the reason is your internal assessments, your lab assessments, or some kind of project that you're working on. I'm not too sure about that, but the number has to increase. The more you practice, it's going to help you get better at it. All right. Just give me one moment. My system has frozen for some reason. I just want to take a quick 2-minute break so that I can fix the system and I can come back. Please do not go anywhere. I need to fix my system and I'll come right back. Thank you. Welcome back, everyone. Really sorry about this. The system kind of completely hung, so it was completely frozen. I had to restart. All right, so now I'm going to talk about some more example questions on sentence improvement. It will include identifying a mistake, also possibly replacing certain aspects. So let's look at the first segment where you need to replace the red font phrase with one of the options if there is a mistake. If there are no mistakes, then obviously you will pick option D. So let's begin. The workers are hell-bent at getting what is due to them. The workers are hell-bent at getting what is due to them, which means the workers are forcing or they are very adamant to get what they deserve. Options: hell-bent on getting, hell-bent for getting, hell-bent upon getting, no improvement. If you look at the phrase itself, it's not grammatically accurate. It should be hell-bent upon. It's not bent on, it's bent upon. This is an example of preposition. What kind of compound words that you should be using when you have a context like this. So the workers are hell-bent upon getting what is due to them. All right, moving on to the next question. If the room had been brighter, I would have been able to read for a while before bedtime. If the room had been brighter, I would have been able to read for a while before bedtime. Number one, it's a very long phrase which is underlined and read. Number two, it's grammatically not accurate. Options: if the room was brighter, if the room are brighter, had the room been brighter, no improvement. I can't say if the room had been brighter. There is no condition in terms of this particular usage. So the correct form is had, which means in case the room had been brighter, I would have been able to read for a while before bedtime. All right. So if the room had been brighter is not correct. It should be had the room been brighter. Next, the poor villagers have waited in the bitter cold for more than 4 hours now. The poor villagers have waited in the bitter cold for more than 4 hours now. The poor villagers have been waiting, had waited, has been waiting, no improvement. When I talk about the last word in the question stem, it says now, which means I am talking about present tense, and backward means since last 4 hours they had been waiting. So I will pick have been waiting. Villagers plural form, so I will use have. The poor villagers have been waiting in the bitter cold for more than 4 hours now. This is present continuous. Since it's plural, I will use the have form. Next question. The old man who felled some trees in the garden with hardly no effort at all. Felling trees means cutting down trees completely. The old man felled some trees in the garden with hardly no effort. When I say hardly, that means it's not there. So when I add no effort, it's a redundancy. So hardly no effort, no, that is incorrect. It should be hardly any effort. Hardly means almost negligible. So the old man felled some trees in the garden with hardly any effort at all. When I say hardly no effort, that means I don't have nothing. So when I use a term like I don't have anything, it makes sense. But when I say I don't have nothing, I am using two negative forms, which is not valid, this is not needed, and that's redundancy. All right. So the correct form is the old man felled some trees in the garden with hardly any effort. Next, the company goes to great length to ensure that employees can be comfortable in their work environment. When I say can be, that means it's a choice, but the company always does a lot of things for their employees' comfort and their benefit. So the company goes to great length to ensure that employees can be I'm reading this slide. The company goes to great length to ensure that the employees can be comfortable in their environment. Options: employees are comfortable, employees will be comfortable, employees should be comfortable, no improvement. The correct option is are comfortable. When I say can, that means it's a possibility. It may happen or may not happen. It's an ability. It's a choice. So the correct form is the employees goes to great length to ensure that the company goes to great length to ensure that employees are comfortable in their work environment. I want you to clearly understand that excuses won't do. I want you to clearly understand that excuses won't do. Options: I want you clearly to understand, I want you to understand clearly that excuses won't do. I want to clearly understand you. No, here the understanding is not about the person, it's about the situation. Hence, the correct option is no improvement needed, because grammatically it makes complete sense. I want you to clearly understand. Now, the reason I will not pick option B, because here it's a combination of adverb and verb, right? So first I need to speak about the adverb, and then I will speak about the verb, which means the quality of the work and then the work. All right. Moving on to the next question. He was fined for careless driving. He was fined or he got fined. He fined for careless driving means he fined somebody else. He was to be fined means he is yet to be fined. The correct option is D, of course, because it's not required to make any change, because grammatically the statement is making absolute sense. I cannot say got fined, it should be was fined. Got means when you receive something. For example, he got an award. Okay, so he was fined means he was penalized. It's a verb form. That's why I will pick he was fined for careless driving. Next question. The reason why we wrote the letter was because he could not. The reason why he wrote the letter was because he could not contact him over the phone. Options. The reason why he wrote the letter was since he could not contact him over the phone. The reason for which he wrote the letter because he could not contact him over the phone. The reason why he wrote the letter was that he could not contact him over the phone, and no improvement. The correct answer is the reason for which he wrote the letter because, this is not should not be the correct answer. It should be C. The reason why he wrote the letter was that he could not contact him over the phone. Just a moment, guys, just a moment. Okay. The reason why he wrote the letter because he could not contact him over the phone. So option C, the reason why he wrote the letter because he could not contact him over the phone. I've improved the answer. Now this is grammatically correct. As he is past his teens now, he can look for himself. What is the meaning of as he is past his teens now? That means his age is above 19. He has passed the teenage. He can look for himself. When you say look for himself, the word for here means searching. as he is past his teens now, he can look for himself. For example, please look for a cab means go search for a cab. So here the context basically means taking care of self. That's why it will be as he is past his teens now, he can look after himself. Looking after himself or looking after someone means taking care of that person. Looking for something means searching for something. Alright, these are all rules of preposition, usage of preposition. So you got to be careful what form are you using in which context. There is no more room for you in this compartment. Option, there is no more seat for you in this compartment. There is no more space for you in this compartment. There is no more accommodation for you in this compartment, or no improvement needed. It cannot be room, it has to be space. So there is no space, there is no more space for you in this compartment. That's the correct form. It's not the what is mentioned on the question stem. It's there is no more space for you in this compartment. Most donors would severely protest any effort to extrapolate from such limited data. What do you mean by extrapolate? Extrapolate basically means to fetch information, to derive information. All right. So most donors would seriously protest any effort to extrapolate from such limited data. Options: most donors would seriously protest against any effort. Most donors would seriously protest at any effort. Most donors would seriously protest to any effort, or no improvement. So please read. The moment you see or read the question, you will be able to understand what should be the correct answer. So when you are protesting, it's always protesting against something. Hence, number 1 is the correct answer. Most donors would seriously protest against any effort to extrapolate from such limited data. Moving on to the next question. If you had attended the meeting, you would have benefited a great deal. If you had attended the meeting, you would have benefited a great deal. Options: if you had attended the meeting, you could benefit a great deal, you would benefit a great deal, you just a moment. Okay, this is perfect. Okay. If you had attended the meeting, you would have benefited a great deal. You could benefit, you would benefit, you benefited, no improvement. So I thought number C needs change, but since it's an incorrect answer, doesn't need. You would have benefited means you would have received some benefits, some advantages had you attended the meeting. All right. Next question. If he would have tried, he would have succeeded. If he would have tried, he would have succeeded. If he is tried, no. When I say tried, that's a past tense, so I can't use a is form here. If he was tried, now tried itself is verb, I don't need a helping verb here. If he had tried, he would have succeeded. Hence, C is the correct answer. If he would have tried, he would have succeeded. It will be no good trying to find an excuse next time. It will be no good trying to find an excuse next time. Options: it will be no good to try find an excuse, to try finding an excuse, trying finding an excuse, no improvement. It will be no good means it's not going to help you. So it will be no good to try find an excuse next time. All right, option A is the correct form. Option B and C are grammatically incorrect, grammatically inaccurate. Hence, option A is the correct answer. All right. Next, there is one word missing. It should be please. So excuse the typo there. Please remind me of posting these letters to my relatives. Please remind me of posting. No, Or should we say, please remind me by posting, please remind me to post, please remind me for posting? No, you always remind for something, remind to do something. So here is a to do, it's a task. So please remind me to post these letters to my relatives. Okay. Now, the next set of questions which I am going to show you is something what one of the student asked on Saturday. That's why I am going to talk about some 10 to 15 examples. So I am going to read out the instruction now. Read each sentence to find out whether there is a grammatical error in it. The error, if any, will be in one part of the sentence. The letter of the part of the answer, if there is no error, the answer D will be the correct one. So basically you will get a list of 4 statement stems, something like this, and it's a continuation. Okay, one of it will have an error, or none of it may have an error. If none of them have an error, you will pick option D. If one of it has an error, you will pick that. So this could look like a slightly complex situation here, but don't worry, I will tell you a very, very simple way of understanding and how to solve these kind of questions. All right, we'll take a quick break, we'll come back and I will talk about this particular segment. If you do not understand, you can call. If you want me to repeat, I can do that. So post break, we'll open up the line so that you can call and ask your questions. All right, so I'll see you after the break. Welcome back, everyone. Let's look at the examples of these questions where you need to identify if any particular statement stem has errors. If not, you will pick option D. Otherwise, you will identify which statement stem has an error. So, the first one, we discussed about the problem so thoroughly on the eve of the examination that I found it very easy to work it out, or no error. So, basically what you need to do is between A, B and C, one of the sentence has an error. You need to pick which option. If none of these have any error, you will say option D. But please do remember, A, B and C are part of one sentence. It's a continuation from A till C. Either of these separate part of sentence will have a grammatical error. We discussed about the problem so thoroughly on the eve of the examination that I found it very easy to work it out. The correct answer is the correct answer in terms of the option where there is a mistake is the first one. We discussed about the problems so thoroughly. Now, how do you resolve this whole problem? What you do is, you in your mind, you make this as a part of one sentence. This is first and foremost. Okay. Let me change the magnification. So, what I am doing is, I am making this as a part of one sentence. Okay. Now, when I have this as a part of one sentence, it will be easier for me to locate where the problem is. We discussed about the problem so thoroughly on the eve of examination that I found it very easy to work it out. Now, the problem is in the first part itself. We discussed about the problem, the so is not necessary. We discussed about the problem thoroughly on the eve of the examination that I found it very easy to work it out. So, this presence of this so is not required. That's why I will pick option A where the problem exists. Okay. Let's look at the second one. An Indian ship laden with merchandise, laden means loaded. An Indian ship laden with merchandise got drowned in the Pacific Ocean. An Indian ship laden with merchandise got drowned in the Pacific Ocean. Here the correct answer is of course C, because when I am looking at this as entire stem, so let me copy this and again do the same exercise for you. An Indian ship laden with merchandise. Merchandise means all the load, the stuff, okay, the stock. An Indian ship laden with merchandise got drowned in the Pacific Ocean. This got is not required here. Sorry. It should be an Indian ship laden with merchandise drowned in the ocean of in the Pacific Ocean. That's why I will pick option C, which has the error. So, sentence number C has the error because got drowned is not necessary, it should be just drowned. Let's have the lines opened up please, because I want students to call and ask their specific questions. So, you have the numbers listed on your screen now, so please do call and ask your questions. Next question. If I had known this yesterday, I will have helped him. Very, very easy. If I had known this yesterday, I will have helped him. Okay. Now try to understand what is the context in terms of this the tense. If I had known this yesterday, when I say if I had known this yesterday, I am basically talking about past tense. So when I have a past tense form in the initial part of the sentence, I should not be using a future tense here. If I had known this yesterday, I would have helped him. So instead of will, it will be would. That's why I will pick option C as the part of the sentence where there is an error. So you need to look at the verb, adjective, adverb, pronoun, noun, singular, plural, all kind of grammatical forms and pick out the error. A lot of travel delay is caused due to the inefficiency and lack of good management on behalf of the railways. Now, a lot of travel delay is caused, sounds good, due to the inefficiency and lack of good management, perfect. On behalf of railways, how can it be on behalf of railways? When you say on behalf, that means it's mandatory to do that. So, can you say the delay is mandatory? Is the inefficiency mandatory? Is lack of good management mandatory? No. Which means instead of on behalf of railways, on part of railways. A lot of train delay is caused due to the inefficiency and lack of good management on part of the railways. It cannot be on behalf of the railways. On behalf means representations, and representation always happens as a part of mandate process. Alright. So please do call and ask your questions, guys. Somebody had specifically requested me for these kind of questions. That's why I'm covering. So if you're finding it difficult to understand, if you need any specific help for Infosys Verbal, please do call and ask. Next question. I have got my MSc degree in 1988. I have got my MSc degree in 1988. It's not I have got, I got. Have is not required, it's a redundancy. So I got my MSc degree in 1988. Moving on. Having received your letter this morning, we are writing to thank you for the same. Let me write this so that it's easy for us. Having received your letter this morning, we are writing to thank you for the same. Having received your letter this morning, we are writing to thank you for the same. Does it look like it has error in any part? Of course not. That's why I will pick option D, which is no error. Alright. Moving on to the next question. If you lend him a book, he will lend it to someone else and never you will get it back. If you lend him a book, if you lend him a book, he will lend it to someone else and never you will get it back. Can I say never you will get it back, or should I say you will never get it back? If you lend him a book, he will lend it to someone else and you will never get it back. So never will you get, so the question stem, the earlier one says and never you will get it back, it should be you will never get it back. That's why I will pick option C, because the grammatical error is in the stem which is against option C. All right. I hope you guys are understanding, so you need to call and let me know. Next question. Do the roses in your garden smell more sweetly than those in ours? Do the roses in your garden smell more sweetly than those in ours? Now, one important part which I need to explain to you. Most cannot be mostly. Okay? Mostly, it can, for example, what I mean to denote here is I mean to denote the degree here. Okay? So when I change the most to mostly, the meaning also changes. Likewise, if I say sweet, sweetly is not a degree in terms of adjective, it's an adverb. So sweet is an adjective, sweetly becomes an adverb, which means when I have more sweetly, it's actually not correct. All right. Do the roses in your garden smell more sweet than those in ours? The moment I am using the term more, if I am using the term more, the ly form should not be used. It's not necessary. Okay. So when I'm saying more, I'm basically comparing. So when I'm comparing, the ly form is not valid. That's why I will choose option B, which has the error. Do the roses in your garden smell more sweet than those in ours? Next question. Block of residential flats are coming up near our house. Block of residential flats are coming up near our house. It should be option A. Okay. A block, it's the letter A is missing, the article is missing. A block of residential flats. If you have a building, it has 10 flats, that is one block of building. So a block of residential flats is, so here what happens is, I am saying this flats are coming up. Okay. So the plural form is rightfully applied, but the article is missing here. That's why I will take option A as the statement stem which has the error. Next, the students were waiting for the, oops, I'm so sorry. The students were awaiting for the arrival of the chief guest. So obviously it should be waiting for, not awaiting. Okay. Awaiting means a different thing when you're using as a first person. I'm awaiting results or I'm waiting for. When I use the for, if I'm using for, I should not be using awaiting. It should be waiting for. The students were waiting for the arrival of the chief guest. So since I'm using the for, I should be using waiting. Awaiting is incorrect. Next. You will get all the information if you read this booklet carefully. You will get all the information if you read this booklet carefully. It's not you will get, you can get. That's a possibility. You can get all the information if you read this booklet carefully. So it's can form, not will. An animal can be just as unhappy in the vast area or in a small one. So let me write this up so that it's easy for you to understand. An animal can be as unhappy in a vast area or in a small one. Okay. Now, I am giving you one example. So, he is as tall like a tree. I am just using this as an example, okay. Or I have another form which is he is as tall as a tree. When I am comparing, when I am using the as form, I need another as. It cannot be he is as tall like a tree or just like a tree, okay. Okay, an animal can be as unhappy in a vast area or in a small one. No, it should be replaced with as. That's why I will pick option C as the option where there is a mistake. An animal can be just as unhappy in a vast area as in a small one. It should not be or, it should be as in a small one. Next, he is working in a bank in New Delhi for the past several months. He is working in a bank in New Delhi for past several months. If he is working for past several months, it has to be he has been working. He has been working in a bank in New Delhi for the past several months. That's why option A is the answer where there is an error. Okay. Next, the scientist must follow his hunches and his data wherever it may lead. The scientist must follow his hunches. Hunches means a gut feeling, intuition, and his data wherever it may lead. So, which statement stem has a mistake? C. It leads where? Wherever it may lead to. So, the lead to, the to is missing. That's why I will pick option C here, which has a mistake. A large scale exchange of nuclear weapons will produce unprecedented amounts of radiation that can penetrate into the biological tissue. Now, please understand, these are examples of certain statement stems where there is a redundancy. What do we mean by redundancy? Redundancy basically means repeats. For example, if I say, please draw a screen, please. If I say please draw a round circle, now it does not make any sense because circle is always round, all right. Please reply back. When a person is replying, it's anyways coming back to you, the message is coming back. So, this back is a redundancy, it's not needed. There are so many examples in terms of redundancy. Let me show you certain more examples in terms of redundancy. The final results. The results are always come in the end, all right. The final result or end results. Results are always in the end. So, just say results, you do not have to say end. Okay. So, these examples of redundancy basically means where we end up using words which has no function at all. Okay. Likewise, in this question, stem C says that can penetrate into the biological tissues. Penetrate itself means going through it, all right. So, if I penetrate this phone, if I penetrate, it will go from this side and come out from this side. That is the meaning of penetrate itself. That is why I do not need the word into. So, look at the statement stem again. Option C says that can penetrate into the biological tissue. It can just be penetrate biological tissue. That's it. There is a redundancy. That's why I will pick option C, which has an error. All right. So these are the kind of questions that may come in terms of sentence improvement. So what do? Whichever stem you have in your mind, you may not be allowed to carry a pen and paper. So write down what is stem number 1. So in your mind, you need to do this psychologically. Stem number 1 could be something, stem number 2, stem number 3. This is how the question will be. But what you need to do in terms of understanding is, you need to combine them. And when you combine, you will be able to figure where the mistake is. For example, I would like to bought a new phone. Okay. So when you're looking at it separately, it will be very difficult for you to understand where is the mistake. So when you are combining it, okay, just a moment, let me align this correctly so that it's easier for you to read and understand. Okay. So when you're reading this as a 3 separate list, I would like to bought a new phone. It may not make sense. So when you make this as one sentence, then you read again, I would like to bought, no, I would like to buy a new phone. Okay. So when you combine this, you will be able to figure which word is not fitting in the entire sentence grammatically and contextually. Obviously, go back to the question, look which option that word is there or the particular part is there. That becomes the square statement stem which has an error. Okay. I am going to suggest you one particular book, if you guys must have heard of it. Just a moment. Okay. So let's have the screen, please. It says key to Wren and Martin's regular and multicolor editions, so forget about that. Key to high school English grammar and composition. Okay. This is basically the key. Key basically means you will have another book which will have all the questions. So I'm just going to show you how the book looks like. Okay, you see this? So it's for 275 rupees. You can buy it in the bookstores as well. So this is the High School English Grammar and Composition, Wren and Martin, the world's most famous book to learn grammar and composition. Now these days this book also comes with the textbook as well as a workbook. This picture that you see, it will provide you the workbook as well, the workbook answers. There will be multiple chapters for each segment of grammar. For adjective, you will have one chapter with lot of examples. And this book can be found in any bookstore. If you want to really improve your grammatical structure, your composition of writing, speaking and understanding, you should definitely refer to this book. Very, very simplified manner it's mentioned in and very easy to understand. All right. I am not getting any more calls, surprisingly so, maybe because just few more days left for the year, not too sure. I still do not know the dates for Infosys. The moment I get to know, that will be conveyed to you. So meanwhile, what you want me to cover, anything in specific that you want me to repeat for tomorrow, you can write back to me. Otherwise, I will anyways continue with the sentence improvement part. All right. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Feel free to write back whichever area you need help on. Thank you. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.